The admissions process begins once a parent submits the admission interest form. After submission, the form is carefully reviewed and validated by the school's admissions team. Next, applicants are scheduled for an assessment, an important step that helps the team evaluate each student's readiness. Based on the results, each application is thoughtfully considered, and for those who meet the requirements, an official admission offer is issued. Once parents receive the offer, they can start the enrollment process by registering through the link provided in the admission offer email. To register, parents will use the applicant's civil ID or passport number and then set and confirm a password. For this demo, I'll enter the student's civil ID, choose a random password, and confirm it. Once I click Submit, an OTP will be sent to the parent's registered email for authentication. Once the OTP is entered in the given field, they can log in and access the enrollment requirement form. At the top of the form, you'll find key student details, including the student's name, the applied grade, the academic year, and the application number. Just below there is the enrollment requirements section. This section contains everything needed to complete the enrollment process, forms to be filled out online, documents to be uploaded, and a few papers that need to be printed and submitted directly to the school. Let's begin with the enrollment form, where parents are asked to provide detailed information about the student. The enrollment form is divided into two parts, English and Arabic. Both sections include the same set of questions, and completing one will automatically fill in the other. Parents can simply choose whichever language they're more comfortable with. In this example, I'll be filling out the English section. You'll also notice that some details are already pre-filled. This information comes directly from the admission interest form and is automatically carried over here to make the process easier. In the student data section, key details about the student are required, such as religion, place of birth, and optional fields like mobile number and email address. If a civil ID has been provided, the form will also ask for the civil ID expiry date and serial number. Likewise, the form collects birth document details, including the document number, place, and date of issue. Alternatively, if a passport number is used instead, the form will prompt for the passport's place of issue, issue date, and expiry date. The student's home address must also be entered. This includes the area, block, street, house number, and home telephone number. All right, let's fill these in quickly. The form also asks who the student lives with. Options include both parents, father only, mother only, grandparents, or others. If others is selected, you'll need to provide the name of the person, their relationship to the student, and their phone number. I'll be selecting both parents. Next, we move on to the father's and mother's details. Most of the information here is already filled in, such as their names, nationalities, marital status, occupations, workplaces, phone numbers, and email addresses. The section still requires a few more additional fields, including their religion and employment status. I'll go ahead and complete those now before moving to the next section. Then comes the financial sponsor section. Here, you'll select who will be responsible for the student's tuition fees. The available options are father, mother, staff, or others. If you choose father, mother, or staff, no additional information is required. But if others is selected, the form will ask for extra details about that sponsor, and an acknowledgement and commitment form must also be completed. For this demonstration, I'll be selecting others so I can show how the additional fields and the acknowledgement and commitment form are completed. Before we move into the acknowledgement and commitment form, I'll start by entering the sponsor's name here. Now that's added, let's open the form. In this section, the guardian must confirm that all the information provided in the declaration is accurate. They also need to state the name of the entity or organization responsible for paying the student's tuition fees. This is where the sponsor's name is entered. Let me fill this in real quick. The guardian also agrees that if the listed entity fails to pay or delays payment for the 2025-2026 academic year beyond May, they will be personally responsible for covering the remaining tuition fees. Below that, the guardian is required to enter their own details, including their name, civil ID number, and employer. I'll go ahead and add some demo information here. Once everything is completed, the guardian signs the form and submits it to proceed with the enrollment process. They can also print the form for their records or cancel if they prefer not to submit it yet. Next is the emergency contacts section. This part is optional, and parents can add up to 3 contacts. For each entry, they'll need to provide the person's name, their relationship to the student, and a phone number. Finally, the person filling out the form will need to type their name in the designated field and then provide their signature in the canvas area below. I'll go ahead and add a random signature in the signature box, just to show how this step works. Finally, there's the disclaimer section. Here, the parent or guardian signs to confirm that all the information provided is accurate and that they take full responsibility for any discrepancies. They also need to read and sign the disclaimer and review the parent and community code of conduct before submitting the enrollment form. Let me go ahead and complete the remaining signatures on the forms before moving on to the next steps. As you can see, there are several actions available at this stage. The Save and Continue Later button allows the parent or guardian to save all the information entered so far and return to complete the form at another time. The Print button provides the option to print a copy of the form for personal records. The Cancel button closes the form, and any information that hasn't been saved will be lost. And finally, the Submit button sends the completed form, allowing the parent or guardian to proceed to the next required step in the enrollment process. Let me go ahead and submit the enrollment form. Now that it's submitted, we can move on to the next part of the process, the student medical form. The student medical form collects the key health information needed to support the child at school. Parents are asked to indicate any medical conditions, past illnesses, surgeries, injuries, allergies, or regular medications. If the child has a chronic condition, a doctor's report must be provided, and parents should state whether the child has any restrictions for sports. The form then includes a consent section, where the parent confirms the information is accurate, selects which non-prescription medications the nurse may give, and authorizes the school to provide first aid if they cannot be reached during an emergency. Before the parent or guardian can finalize and sign the student medical record form, there's one more section that needs to be completed, the emergency contact information. In this part of the form, the parent or guardian must provide contact details for one or two individuals who can be reached in case of an emergency. For each contact, the following information is required: name, relationship to the student, telephone number. These contacts act as the school's immediate alternatives if the parent or guardian cannot be reached during an urgent situation. Once the emergency contact details are filled in, the parent or guardian can review the information provided in the entire form, confirm its accuracy, and then add their signature. Let me fill in the form quick so I can move on to the next section. After signing, they can proceed to the next part of the process, the Health Guidance and Recommendations section. The next part of the form asks parents to keep children home when they're sick, provide doctor's notes when required, report any chronic conditions, submit necessary medical documents, and ensure any medication given at school comes with a prescription. Parents must also inform the school if the child took medication before arriving. I'll go ahead and submit the student medical form so we can move on to the next form, the new student admission contract. This part of the form asks parents to acknowledge that admission is granted only for the 2025-2026 school year and is not guaranteed for future years. Re-enrollment depends on the student's academic performance, behavior, and attendance. The form also explains that a paid deposit will be refunded only if the school declines re-enrollment, and that paying a deposit does not guarantee a seat unless all requirements are met. The parent or guardian is required to enter their name wherever indicated. I'll go ahead and enter our demo parent name in the required fields and sign the form. There is also an Arabic version of the contract, which already contains the same information we just entered. All that's needed here is the signature. Next is the BBS tuition fees payment commitment. This part of the form asks parents to agree to the school's payment schedule and fee policies. It explains that tuition is paid in 3 installments, a non-refundable KD 100 deposit is required each year, and all payments must be made on time to keep the student's enrollment active. Late payments may affect access to grades or even re-enrollment. Parents must also acknowledge the withdrawal fee rules, that all outstanding fees must be paid before any student records are transferred, and that re-enrollment is based on academic performance and behavior, even if the yearly deposit has been paid. After reviewing these terms, the parent checks the confirmation box and signs the form. Once all required fields are completed, I'll go ahead and submit the form. Next, we move to the ID card form in the parent form. This section explains that family ID cards are part of the school's security system and are used to identify approved individuals who are allowed on campus. Cards may be issued for parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, and nannies, while drivers are not eligible. In this section of the Family ID card application, the parent or guardian can enter the information for each Family ID applicant. The form asks for the applicant's name, their relationship to the student, and the required supporting documents, such as a civil ID or passport copy. Parents can add multiple applicants as needed. Let me go ahead and add one applicant now. Now that's done, we can move on to the acknowledgement section. Here, parents and authorized family members confirm that all information provided in the Family ID application is accurate and complete. By signing, they acknowledge that they have read and understood the conditions for issuing Family ID cards. This section also asks applicants to agree to inform the school's facilities management office immediately if an ID card is lost or stolen, so records can be updated and campus security is maintained. Next, the form asks for a few additional details: the applicant's name, their relationship to the student, the name and grade of the eldest child, as well as a mobile number and email address. I'll go ahead and fill in these fields and sign the form. Once that's completed, I'll submit this form. Now that all forms are filled, we can move on to the attachments section. Here, parents are asked to upload the required documents needed for the enrollment process. For demonstration purposes, I'll attach a few sample documents. After the attachments, there is a section listing the documents that must be submitted physically at the school. It's important to note that all forms and required attachments may be updated or adjusted by the admissions team through the Smart Suite system. The enrollment process ends with a final section where the person completing the form provides their information. Once that's done, they can choose to save and continue later, which sends a link allowing them to return and finish the form at any time. Or if everything is complete, the enrollment form can be submitted.